The sound of a wooden chair crashing against a tiled floor echoed through the crowded compound just as the master of ceremonies raised the microphone. "Stop this wedding," a furious voice thundered. Every conversation died instantly. The talking drums fell silent. Women stopped dancing. Children ran behind their mothers. The bride froze. The groom slowly turned around, his heart pounding so loudly he could barely hear anything else. An elderly man stepped forward, pointing a trembling finger at the groom. "As long as I still breathe, this marriage will never happen." The bride's eyes filled with tears. Guests stared at one another in disbelief. Some began whispering. Others quietly reached for their phones to record the unfolding drama. No one understood how a day that had started with songs, laughter, and celebration had suddenly turned into chaos. The groom tightened his fists but remained silent. The bride looked from her father to the man she loved, feeling as though the world beneath her feet had disappeared. The master of ceremonies slowly lowered the microphone. Nobody dared to speak. Nobody dared to move. Then the narrator spoke. "Sometimes the greatest enemy of love is not distance. It is not money. It is not betrayal. Sometimes the greatest enemy of love is a name, the tribe attached to it. This is the unforgettable story of two young Nigerians whose love dared to challenge generations of prejudice. Stay with this story until the very end because its ending carries a lesson every family needs to hear. You are watching Tales by Glory, where every story leaves you with an impactful lesson. Before we continue, take a second to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments, do you believe love should be stronger than tribal differences? Months before that heartbreaking day, life looked completely different.
The early morning sun shone brightly over Enugu as 26-year-old Chinedu Okafor stepped out of his father's compound carrying a worn traveling bag. His mother hurried after him. "Chinedu!" He turned around with a smile. "Mama!" She straightened the collar of his white shirt like she had done since he was a little boy. "You'll always be my little son." He laughed softly. "Mama, I'm 26. And you'll still be my little son when you are 60. They both laughed. His father, Chief Okafor, walked out with his usual serious expression. "So, today is finally here." "Yes, Papa. You've made this family proud. First-class graduate. Now you are going for your NYSC. "I will do my best." His father placed a hand on his shoulder. "Remember something. I'm listening. Your name is bigger than you. Wherever you go, carry this family with dignity." "I will." His father nodded. "And never forget where you come from." "I won't." His younger sister ran outside holding a small wrapped package. "Brother!" He collected it. "What's this?" "Open it when you miss home." He smiled warmly. "I already miss home." His mother hugged him tightly. "God will protect you." Amen. As the bus drove away from the compound, Chinedu watched his family grow smaller through the dusty rear window.
He had no idea that the journey ahead would change not only his future, but the future of two entire families. Hundreds of kilometers away, in Cross River State, another family was saying goodbye. Comfort Bassey stood outside her family house wearing a bright smile that barely hid her excitement. Her younger cousins surrounded her. "Auntie Comfort, don't forget us when you become a big government worker." She laughed. "I'm only going for NYSC, not to become president." One little girl hugged her leg. "Bring me plenty of sweets. I'll bring enough for everybody." Her mother adjusted the scarf on her head. "You've always carried joy wherever you go." "I learned from you, Mama." Mrs. Bassey smiled proudly. "You have a beautiful heart. Don't let anyone change that." "I won't." Then her father stepped outside. Unlike her cheerful mother, Mr. Bassey rarely smiled. He believed discipline built strong children. He looked directly into his daughter's eyes. "Comfort. Yes, Daddy. I know you will meet many people during your service year." "I know. Choose your friends wisely." "I will."
And remember that every decision you make reflects this family. I understand. He paused. Our traditions have guided this family for generations. They have. Never be ashamed of where you come from. Comfort nodded respectfully. I could never be ashamed of my roots. He finally smiled. It was small, brief, but genuine. I'm proud of you. Those 4 words meant everything to her. She hugged both parents tightly before boarding the bus that would take her to orientation camp. As the journey began, she rested her head against the window and watched villages disappear behind her. Like Chinedu, she believed NYSC would simply be another chapter in life. Neither of them knew destiny had already begun writing a completely different story. 3 days later, the NYSC orientation camp buzzed with excitement. Corps members from every corner of Nigeria filled the grounds. Different languages mixed in the air. Laughter echoed from every direction. Some struggled with heavy bags, others searched for their hostels. The atmosphere felt like a miniature Nigeria. Chinedu stood in a long registration line, wiping sweat from his forehead. "This line isn't moving at all," someone behind him complained.
"It'll move eventually," Chinedu replied with a smile. Just then, another voice interrupted. "Excuse me, is this the registration line for Batch B?" Without turning around, Chinedu answered confidently, "No, that's over there." The young woman thanked him and hurried away. 5 minutes later, an official shouted loudly, "Everyone in this line is for Batch A. Batch B should move to the next tent." Chinedu closed his eyes. Oh no. The same young woman returned, staring at him with folded arms. "So you're the confident guide that sent me to the wrong place?" He looked embarrassed. "I'm sorry." She raised an eyebrow. "You sounded very sure of yourself." "I honestly thought I was right." She tried to remain serious. "You've already delayed my registration." "I deserve that." "You do." "I'm Chinedu." She hesitated before shaking his hand. "Comfort. I'm starting NYSC by apologizing. And you're not doing a very good job. I'll make it up to you." She laughed despite herself. "We'll see." For the rest of the day, they kept crossing paths, at the dining hall, at the parade ground, at the lecture hall. Each time, one of them smiled first. On the 3rd morning, during the exhausting parade drills, the instructor barked orders with military precision. "Straighten that line." Corps members scrambled into position. Comfort stumbled slightly after someone accidentally stepped on her boot. Before she could lose balance completely, Chinedu caught her arm. "You okay?" She nodded. "Thanks. I couldn't let my first victim fall." She laughed. "So now you've admitted you're guilty?" "I admitted it the first day." Maybe there's hope for you after all." Later that afternoon, Corps members were divided into teams to design community development projects. Fate placed Chinedu and Comfort in the same group. Their assignment was simple: develop an educational project that could improve literacy in nearby rural communities. As ideas flew around the table, one member suggested donating books. Another proposed renovating classrooms. Then Chinedu spoke. "What if we create weekend reading clubs and train volunteer teachers? The buildings may grow old again, but knowledge stays with people." Several members nodded. Before anyone could agree, Comfort raised her hand. "I think that's good, but reading alone won't solve everything." Everyone looked toward her. "Many children can't even afford basic writing materials. We should combine literacy with supply drives. If they have no books or pencils, they can't benefit from reading clubs." Chinedu smiled. "I didn't think about that." Comfort smiled back. "So you're admitting I'm right?" "This time," he laughed. "Yes." The entire group burst into laughter. Neither of them realized that what began as a disagreement had quietly become the first step toward a love story that would one day shake 2 families to their very foundations.
As Chinedu slipped his phone back into his pocket, he forced a smile, pretending everything was fine. Comfort looked at him with quiet concern. "Is everything okay?" He nodded gently. "Yes, just my father reminding me why I'm here." Comfort smiled. unaware of the storm that was slowly gathering beyond the horizon. Neither of them knew that the beautiful friendship they had just begun would soon blossom into a love so deep that it would shake two families to their very foundations. Neither of them knew that the people they loved the most would become the greatest obstacle to their happiness. And neither of them could have imagined that one day their wedding would be brought to a sudden halt before the eyes of hundreds of shocked guests. Was their love strong enough to survive tribal prejudice? Would their families ever accept the union? Or would they be forced to choose between the people who raised them and the person they truly loved? You'll find out in part 2. If this story has touched your heart so far, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Tales by Glory, and share your thoughts in the comments. Tell us this: should tribe ever stand in the way of true love? Until part 2, stay blessed, stay inspired, and remember, every story leaves us with a lesson worth carrying for life.